Well, here's the thing about an employee handbook. First of all, read it. Read it cover to cover. What it will say in the first page is that this is a policy expressed by the company basically for the good of the company, and that nothing set forth herein creates contractual or legal rights for you. The way the company looks at an employee handbook, the way they talk about it, is that it's a sword and a shield. Why do they say that? Because if you do something that violates the employee handbook, if you violate the code of conduct, if you violate the rules, if you violate what they say that you need to do, it's a sword. They use that to discipline you, up to including termination. But they also say it's a shield. The reason why they say it's a shield is because if you believe you have a claim or something of that nature, you're supposed to follow their rules. And if you don't follow their rules as expressed in the employee handbook, they raise the shield and say, well, it was right here and you didn't follow it, so that's our shield. Now, can they violate their own policy? Yes, they can. Unfortunately, it's true. And it happens all the time. You may say, well, here's the code of conduct. My manager violated X, Y, and Z. Why isn't he fired? Why isn't he disciplined? The bottom line is that the company retains the discretion to enforce or not enforce as they see fit. So the handbook in and of itself is not legally binding on them, so you can't enforce them to enforce it. Yet, you have to know that you still may have legal rights that you can use. If they're not following their own handbook, if they're violating their own policies, if they're treating you in what I call a disparate fashion compared to other similarly situated employees, if everything you do is viewed one way and the other person or your manager another way, there's something going on in this workplace. You need to find your legal leverage. You may be a victim of discrimination on a protected category. You're probably an employee at will, which means that they probably retain the right to say what they want, discipline you how they want, even let you go for reasons that you don't think are fair, or maybe what everybody doesn't think is fair. But that doesn't necessarily import that you have a legal claim. But if you can figure out where your true legal rights lie, whether it be in the discrimination laws, the retaliation laws, maybe you're a victim of defamation. Defamation is the written word. That's a false statement of fact that imports certain type of conduct, for example, unworthiness in the workplace. You might be able to use defamation to attack, what's going on. Now you're talking legal language. Now the company has to take more notice of what you're saying, unless you're just complaining about, well, you're not following properly your own procedures, because they've heard that time and time again, and their lawyers tell them, it really doesn't matter that much, we can do that. But if you use the right legal terms in the right setting and still go about your work the right way and still whistle while you work and do your job, as you advance proper legal claims, once you've determined what those are, that's the best approach to a company violating its own employee handbook.